Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Dam, and you are watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies, and today we're going to talk about a ton of mistakes in Back to the Future. So I am your soon-to-be sweat-soaked host, Darren Van Dam. I've got a Marty McFly amount of layers on, and it's May in Atlanta right now. Back to the Future is currently on Netflix. It will be leaving at the end of June, so if you get the hankering to watch it after watching this video, go check it out. In this video, we're gonna cover a bunch, 50 big mistakes in Back to the Future. However, I will start off by saying that I think this movie is a masterpiece. It was written and directed by Robert Zemeckis, who I think is one of the most underrated directors of all time. Don't get me wrong, he's incredibly successful, but he created Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, some of the best, most enduring movies of all time, yet his name is not really synonymous with great movies. And despite its age, and despite the fact that one of its major themes is incest.
Do you mind if I sit here?
No, fine. No, good, fine.
Back to the Future is one of the most widely appreciated movies in the world and still holds up as one of the most entertaining movies ever made from beginning to end. And not only does it hold up, but our fascination with Back to the Future appears to be never ending.
Whatever happened to that guy Marty from high school?
Don't know. Never saw him after the prom.
Really? Sure you didn't run into him, say, about 16 years ago?
It's also incredibly well produced. However, a big production like this involves a lot of people walking around doing a lot of different jobs, and people are prone to mistakes. Sometimes those mistakes make it into the movie. In no way is this video an attempt to disparage this otherwise fantastic movie, but we're gonna put it under the microscope, and trust me, you're not gonna look at movies the same way again. Also, before we proceed, we're not gonna talk about any time paradoxes. There's a ton of them, ton of plot holes in any time travel movie. If we talk about that stuff, we'll be here all day. So without further ado, let's let it rip. We're gonna go through in chronological order. So right off the bat, that is not how you spell filament. See that full candy jar next to Marty? He must pour half of it down his throat like a pelican because 4 seconds later it's half empty. Biff steals a Miller Lite from the fridge, which also has a few Bud Lights in it, and nobody has both in their fridge at home. Nobody. Now, while Marty probably didn't eat that candy, he does appear to have an aversion to sugar in the movie.
Look, just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
And if that's the case, why are there half-eaten candy bars next to his bed? All right, now let's back it up. How on God's green earth did Doc get the gull-wing doors open on that car to get inside in the back of that van? He would have had to drive to the mall, use the remote to back out the DeLorean, get in, drive it back into the van, supposedly close the van door with some sort of remote, and then wait till he assumes Marty's standing there to back out for the big reveal. In this shot with Einstein, all the months on the readout are numbered, but in most shots, they're abbreviated. And that's clearly a person in a dog costume. Right here you see Doc's remote building up some sort of number. It seems to suggest that it's miles per hour. However, you need to actually be traveling to go miles per hour. He's simply just building up torque by spinning the wheels. Just as the DeLorean hits 88 miles per hour, let's pause it right there. You can see a giant generator, lighting equipment, possibly some crew members hanging out back there. Ooh, there goes the sweat. My guess here is that they needed a bright light to hit the car right at that moment to go hand in hand with all the animated effects on screen. You can barely tell, but when you pause it, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that's clearly not in that parking lot. And there was a big one. Did you catch it? The fire goes between Doc's legs. The next moment, it's right to the left of him.
88 miles per hour!
Here you can see the little bar that they use to spin the license plate around. Also, that license plate says out of time. That's 8 characters, and California license plates only allowed for 7.
Say you want to see the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Or witness the birth of Christ.
Here, even if Doc had his dates right, which he doesn't, the Declaration of Independence wasn't signed then, and we don't exactly know when Jesus was born, but even if he did travel back to those times, he would still be in California with no possible way of getting to those locations on the other side of the country and the other side of the world. Plutonium doesn't look like that, it looks like this. Immediately after handling weapons-grade plutonium, Doc takes his radiation-laden gloves and touches everything in sight, including Marty, including his own throat, and his f***ing face.
I must be out of my mind. What is it, Arnie?
Oh, here come the Libyans!
The Libyans!
And the Libyan driver is wearing a Saudi headdress for some reason. Here, Marty goes back in time before actually going back in time because the odometer loses about 70 miles while the Libyan/Saudis are chasing him. This is one of many collisions the DeLorean gets in during this movie, and it never has a scratch on it. Here we are in good old 1955. But these albums were released in... Oddly enough, that Nat King Cole album came out in 1954, but it's the only Nat King Cole album that came out before 1955. The speaker on the back of this campaign car instantly vanishes.
Back in time.
That Pepsi thermometer in the background wasn't produced until 1956. Here, Marty finds Doc in the phone book, and that is not the hand of an 18-year-old boy. Not only that, he finds it on the left side of the phone book, then proceeds to tear out a right-hand page.
All right, give me a Pepsi free.
You want a Pepsi, pal? You're gonna pay for it.
Just give me something without any sugar in it, okay?
Mom bought this caffeine-free cola. I said, no way. Then I tasted it. We are Pepsi free.
Now in 1985, Pepsi Free was actually caffeine-free, not sugar-free. Diet Pepsi was sugar-free, and Marty knows that because he was drinking it in the beginning of the movie. Here they're watching the same episode of The Honeymooners that the family was watching in the beginning of the movie. However, that particular episode premiered 57 days after November 5th, 1955.
Who's president of the United States in 1985?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. The actor?
I suppose Jane Wyman is a first lady.
Ronald Reagan actually divorced Jane in 1949 and then married Nancy in 1952, but I guess you could assume Doc just doesn't keep up with current events. Now, quick trivia question for you. What makes time travel possible?
Flux capacitor.
Except for Doc originally, I guess, called it a flux compressor. There would have been absolutely no way to hook up an 80s camcorder to a 1950s television. None.
Never mind that now, never mind that.
Also, the footage they're watching was taken when Marty had the camera pointed at the ground.
Doc, is that a Devo?
Never mind that now, never mind that now. Not now, not now.
Never mind that now, never mind that.
Originally, in this scene, Marty was supposed to pull a hairdryer out and point it at George. They deleted that, but the hairdryer disappears and reappears as a result. Here you see that little metal plate under the skateboard to throw sparks. Now you don't. Not only that, the skateboard is completely different with modern trucks and wheels and everything. Here, Marty has some very distinct flaps on his pockets, but they can't seem to decide whether they want to be inside his pocket or out. Also, George is hanging completely dry clothes.
All right, guys, listen to the blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Here, Marty is playing the iconic Les Paul Gibson a full 2 years before it ever hit the market. Also, the lines on the basketball court were not painted that way until the 70s. Prior to that, everything was much tighter and closer to the basket. Oh, also, guitar amps didn't have reverb until the early 60s. See here where Doc sloppily painted Start Here? Now it looks like a pro painted it. As Doc starts to slip, you can see he's wearing Velcro shoes. Puma first introduced Velcro shoes in 1968, but they wouldn't even become widely used until the 80s. Right here you can see a wire they used to pull that cord down to get caught on Doc's pants.
Please, come on.
Marty beeping the horn gets the car to magically start. DeLoreans didn't have horns in the steering wheel like normal cars. It was a little button on the turn indicator. So I actually consider this scene to be expertly edited. It builds tension perfectly. It's exciting. It seems like it's not going to end, but as a result, a lot of the math doesn't work out. Marty would have had to have been miles away, much further than they said. The timing would not have necessarily worked. There's a lot of problems with it. A big one is he keeps passing the same point over and over again. My guess is that this was all done in the editing room long after all this stuff was shot, and it was done to stretch it out to make it just a pitch perfect climax, and I think it works. A side effect of that is they had to reuse the same shot a few times, but odds are you never noticed in all the times you've seen this movie. Good luck not noticing it now. Also, there's 2 people inside the car, right at this last moment. Biggest moment of the movie. There's 2 heads in the car. Not only that, they use this exact same shot in Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. And you can see both heads in every single movie. So not only does this AK-47 shoot way too many rounds, he never needs to reload it, but those bullets would have gone through that bulletproof vest, through all of Doc's vital organs, out the back of the vest, and at least an inch or so into the pavement behind him. But he lives because he did tape that letter back together. However, the letter does not match the one that Marty wrote earlier in the movie. Here, Doc's futuristic sunglasses must not have actually been see-through because the stunt driver is not wearing them. In fact, he's not even wearing a very good Doc wig. He's just wearing a curly-headed wig.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
And then here finally at the end of the movie, a lot of people would say that he has no way to get up to 88 miles per hour, but it makes for a fantastic final shot to an otherwise near perfect movie. Thanks for taking a few minutes to tear through it with me. If you know of any other mistakes that I missed, let us all know in the comments below. Also, help me thank the Patreon supporters in the comments below. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the video description. There's also a link down there where you could become a channel member right here on YouTube and get access to exclusive videos from me. But I will keep making videos like this as long as you keep watching them. Thanks for watching this special Back to the Future episode, and you will see me on the next one.